Hi Skirts and Scuffs readers, this is Summer Dreyer giving you my 5 questions heading into the New Hampshire and Iowa racing weekend. If you've read this column before, you know that it's typically been written up as a column. We decided to try something new and different by turning it into a video blog. So now you'll get my sarcasm and expertise with the added benefit of a video format. This weekend we have 3 different races in 2 different places, with the NASCAR Sprint Cup and Nationwide Series competing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and the Camping World Truck Series racing at Iowa Speedway. Skirts and Scuffs will have representatives at both races, with Genevieve Carteret in New Hampshire and myself in Iowa. So, keep a lookout for our updates on skirtsandscuffs.com and our tweets on Twitter. Now, let's dive into the questions heading into the weekend. First off, it's the painstakingly obvious but totally necessary. What was Kentucky Speedway thinking? I know that there are those that feel the situation was overblown, but most of the people saying that weren't there. And I'm not going to assume thousands of paying customers were over-dramatizing the situation. Pictures speak 1,000 words, and some of the images I've seen from the weekend say enough. Not to mention some of the first-person accounts I've heard from the track, and wow, what a colossal screw-up, right? Not only were fans backed up in traffic hours before the race even started, and for a long time after, but after around the halfway point in the race, around 20,000 people were turned away because of a lack of parking. Wow. The experience inside the track wasn't much better from what I heard. Concession stands were reportedly running out of supplies before the race even started. And the bathrooms? Well, let's just say it might have been better to have had a catheter. I will never understand how you could add 40 to 50,000 seats, yet leave the parking spaces as they were. Not to mention the track knew they had a sellout crowd, and still nothing was done about it. I imagine the conversation in the boardroom had to have gone something like this. Let's add 40,000 new seats to the track to meet demand. Wait, sir, don't you think we should add parking spaces and staff or even more porta potties? Nah, we'll be fine. Let's just play it by ear. Okay. So, Kentucky Speedway screwed up, in a big way, with a lot of people. But unlike countless others, I'm not calling for their head. Look, I'm a firm believer in second chances, and Kentucky is at least offering up some ticket exchange plans to make things better. And we have an entire year between now and the next Kentucky Cup date, which should be plenty of time for them to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it. As they say, time heals all wounds, and I'm sure they hope so in this case. Then again, if all the people claiming never to go back again don't, then traffic won't be an issue anyway. Question 2. Can you believe the season is already over? Okay, halfway over, but still, that hardly seems possible. Wasn't it just last week that Trevor Bayne shocked all of us by winning the Daytona 500, made himself a celebrity in the mainstream media, and temporarily got the Justin Bieber demographic on board the NASCAR bandwagon? Wow, good times. Now we're at 18 races down, 18 to go, and in my opinion, it's been an awfully exciting season. Let's recap. 3 first-time winners, including the aforementioned Trevor Bayne, 12 different winners in 18 races as opposed to 7 this time last year, and 9 races with a margin of victory less than 1 second, with the closest coming at Talladega Superspeedway when Jimmy Johnson won by .002 seconds over Clint Boyer. Yeah, but if we're going to mention best moments, I definitely have to give that to Darlington. Oh, come on. Do I have to remind you? Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. Harvick gets out of his car. Harvick tries to punch Busch inside his car. Busch drives away, and Harvick's car goes into pit wall off of Busch's nose. Not to mention the $25,000 fine NASCAR smacked both of them with, and a 5-week probation period. Like that means anything, right? The best part? It's not over. Or so Harvick keeps saying. The two camps seem to avoid each other on the track. Pocono anyone? And thanks to the lovely new invention called Twitter, talking trash has become so much easier. If you aren't on Twitter, you are missing out. I'm just saying. Question 3. Will Greg Biffle's new crew chief bring the help the team needs? Earlier this week, Roush Fenway Racing announced that Greg Irwin was out as Greg Biffle's crew chief, and Matt Pusha, Paul Menard's Nationwide Series crew chief last season, was in. And if you look at Biffle's results this season, it's not hard to see why the change was made. In the last 8 races, Biffle only has 1 finish inside of the top 10 and 5 top 10 finishes in total. Remember, this is the driver who won 2 races last season and finished 6th in the standings. What's inexcusable about Biffle's performance, though, is that of his teammates. All three of his RFR teammates have at least one victory this year, including David Reagan, who, let's remember, was once referred to as a dart without feathers early on in his career. You mean the dart without feathers has more wins than the Biff this season? Come on, guys, get it together. I mean, nothing against Reagan, but sheesh, that's kind of embarrassing, don't you think? I don't know. Still, I can't help but wonder why Matt Puccia was the crew chief of choice. Puccia has never been a crew chief in the Sprint Cup Series before, and while you have to start somewhere, is it really fair to throw a guy who is essentially a rookie and onto the pit box of a proven Sprint Cup Series team and ask him to save it? Oh, but no pressure or anything, Matt. Just do your best. Good luck anyway. Question 4. Can Kyle Busch get victory number 100 this weekend? Can he? Well, yeah. Will he? Guess we'll have to find out. For those that weren't aware, Kyle Busch is at 99 career total NASCAR National Series victories, which I know may not mean much to some people, but it's impressive enough. After all, if it's so easy, how come so few people have done it? Now hear me out. I know both Richard Petty and David Pearson have wins in the triple-digit columns, but that's strictly in the Sprint Cup Series. Busch only has 22 Cup wins, and while that's impressive, I'm going to have to resist screaming at my TV every time I hear one of the commentators say something to the effect of, "This will put him in the company of greats such as Petty and Pearson." Again, I do think it's impressive that Busch is able to win at least once a weekend and has been for a few years now. And I don't want to take away from the accomplishment, but let's not make it out to be a bigger deal than it is, all right, guys? So, good luck to Kyle Busch this weekend anyway. He'll have 2 opportunities to hit the 100 mark this weekend, once in the nationwide race and once in the Cup Series race. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And finally, question 5. Can a rookie win the Camping World Truck Series race? We already know that a Truck Series regular is going to win since the entry list shows, yay, no Cup drivers. So let's take a look at the potential for a new winner. A fresh face, if you will. Joey Coulter, Parker Kligerman, and Cole Witt have all shown potential this season, and all 3 have either very limited or no starts at Iowa Speedway. Coulter has raced twice at Iowa in the ARCA Racing Series with the best finish of 3rd in 2009. Witt has made 1 start in Iowa in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, but finished 22nd due to a failed transmission, but led 31 laps before the failure. Kligerman has never made a start in Iowa. Now, if I were to put my money on one of the 3, I'd go with Witt. But hey, to each their own. Also, be sure to keep an eye on Dakota Armstrong, who is making his debut with Thor Sport Racing this weekend. I'll be conducting an interview with him at the track, so keep an eye out for that. Now, instead of the bonus questions you've been accustomed to seeing at the end of this column, I'm going to go ahead and make some fantasy picks. Hey, just for fun, but that way those of you that use the Blame Summer hashtag on Twitter at least have some ammo when I finish making my picks. As if you don't already have enough ammo. For my Truck Series pick, I'll go with Austin Dillon. For Nationwide, sorry guys, but I can't bet against Kyle Busch. And for the Cup Series, I'll go with none other than your 5-time and defending Sprint Cup Series champion, Jimmie Johnson. I'm going out on some safe and sturdy limbs this weekend. But that's all for now, folks. If you like the video, be sure to let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or in the comments section. If we get a good enough response, we'll be sure to do this again sometime. Any graphics you saw were courtesy of Lacey Kaiser, and be sure to check out skirtsandscuffs.com daily for the latest interviews, news, and commentary. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/skirtsandscuffs. Have a great weekend.